Alright, so in this video we're going to be going through kind of a follow along of me creating QMK firmware for the rb18. I'm also going to go into how I've added VIA support to the rb18. But I decided to make this a little more of a tutorial, so I'm actually going to go through the entire setup of QMK from scratch. So this is a fresh install of Ubuntu in WSL on Windows 11. So I'm just going to go ahead and put in my username. Going to go ahead and put in a password. And then we're just going to do a couple of things to get started here. So first up, we're going to do sudo apt update. Put in our password again. Alright, then we're going to go ahead and install a couple things. So we're going to install gedit for our text editor. We're going to install git, and we're going to install pip, which will help us install QMK. Okay, now we're going to install QMK. Now we're going to run QMK setup. Actually, before we run QMK setup, there is a little extra step we have to do for Ubuntu. So we're going to run that right now. This is adding something to our path, and it's going to just do that automatically whenever we source our C#, which typically happens at login. So we're just going to do that and then resource our C#. Okay, now we're going to do QMK setup. So we don't have QMK firmware, the repo, so we're going to go ahead and clone the repo. It's asking us to install dependencies. We're going to go ahead and say yes to that. Okay, now our environment should be ready. Just to test our environment, we're going to do a QMK compile on one of the keyboards in the repo. And in honor of the rb69 that we're using today, we're going to go ahead and try to compile the rb69. We'll do the VIA key map. Everything looks okay, so our environment should be good. Now we're going to run QMK new keyboard. Sorry, that is with a dash, QMK new keyboard. Alright, our keyboard is the rb18. We're going to be putting that in the same folder as the rb69, so we're going to do ryan baker / rb18. In my case, my username is Ryan Baker, so I'm going to put that here. Real name, we'll just leave it as my GitHub name. We don't really want to import a community layout, so we're just going to do none of the above. And then our microcontroller is the Atmega32U4, so we are also going to leave that as the default. Okay, now that has generated some files for us, we're going to go to our QMK firmware folder, and we're going to go to keyboards, and then Ryan Baker, and then into the new rb18. So we can see what we've got here. Let's start off with the README. So if we use gedit, we can open that README, and let's see. I think we're just going to leave that as rb18. We don't have a hardware picture right now, so we'll just get rid of that. And for a short description, let's do a DIY acrylic, a DIY stacked acrylic numpad. Keyboard maintainer is good. Hardware supported. That is going to be the rb18 with Elite C. Hardware availability, that's going to be today, so 2022, April 18th. This make example is fine. We don't need a flashing example. Let's see, we should put some info about how to get to the bootloader. So to boot into the bootloader, hold the reset button on the Elite C on plugin. Yeah, that sounds good. And this build info is good. Oh, okay. And looks like it did auto-populate some stuff about how to get into the bootloader, but we can just get rid of that. Okay, so that should be good. Next, let's see, what else do we got? Let's do info.json. All right, so this we can actually generate from the KLE. So I'm going to go ahead and open the GitHub for the rb18, and we've got this KLE. So we can just select all of these and do tools, remove all legends, and we can go to the raw data and just grab this. Then we can go to qmk.fm/converter and just paste that raw data in and hit convert, and this will give us our JSON file. And then the only thing we should do from here is just name our keyboard. So that should be good. Okay. For a lot of the rest of these files, I'm actually just going to copy them from the rb69 to start. So let's do a cp-r for rb69/config, rb69/keymaps, rb69/rb69.c. Whoa, what did I do? rb69/rb69.c, rb69/rb69.h, and let's get the rules.mk in there as well. So I do rb69/rules.mk, and then we're going to copy all of those into the rb18 folder. Oh, just noticed there's a typo here. Let's make that a .c. Alright, and now I can go back into rb18 Okay, now let's see, we should move rb69.c to rb18.c and do the same with the H files. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and also open up the schematic here. Oops. Just open that and download it. I can open this up. Okay, so this will give us some info that we need to make the keyboard macro and some of the key maps. So let's open up the config.h file. Okay, let's see. So first of all, let's change this to 2022. And let's see, this is good, good. Vendor ID is RB, so that can stay the same. Product ID, let's change that to the 18. And product call rb18. We only have 4 columns. Okay, and then the row pins. So down here, should see everything like that. So it's going to be B1, F7, F6, F5, F4. And then for the columns, we only have 4 pins. Do that. And it looks like that's going to be B2, B6, B5, B4. So do B2, B6, B5, B4. That looks good. Yep, this all looks good. And then for the RGB, looks like we're still using the same pin. And we should be able to use all of these effects. Okay, definitely going to have less than 14 LEDs on this. I'm going to put it to 3. I think that's probably good. And then that should be it for config.h. Okay. Let's open rb18.c. We'll change that date again, and then we'll change this to rb18.h. Okay. And then we will open up rb18.h. Do that date again. Alright, and then this gets fun. So in the layout macro for QMK, there's 2 parts. There's the physical layout, which is this part, and then there's the electrical layout, which is this part. So first of all, I'm just going to cut this down to size. Do the same thing down here. Okay. Now let's see, for the electrical layout, I don't have this, or this. have these though? So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and oh, this is actually wrong. So this should go here. It's going to be 1. And yeah, that looks like it should be about right. Alright, and then for the physical layout, we did something a little funky. So this second column is all shifted up actually. So it's going to be like this. And then again, we don't have these keys. Then I think that should be good. Okay. Let's open up rules.mk. Okay, we're still using this microcontroller. This bootloader's fine, and then those are fine. Yeah, we probably want to disable these to save space. And we don't have a backlight. Okay, yeah, we do have RGB. Yep, this looks fine. So let's go into the key maps area. Go into the default layout. And let's edit this README. Okay, well, we'll just update that real quick. And okay, let's edit the actual key map. Okay, we'll update this date again. Okay, let's turn on word wrap. This should help a little bit. And we don't actually need a second layer for the numpad, at least on the default K map. And then let's just get rid of most of this again. Okay. Now we just got to think of the actual keyboard layout. Okay, I have the PCB here, so that'll be pretty easy to do. So there is not a key here. There is not a key here. And there's not a key here. But then there are keys here. Oh, you know what? No, there is a key here. Just not electrically. Okay. So now I just need to start going through all these. So this first one is going to be NLCK. And then we have, that's a number lock. And then we have PSLS, that's pad slash. And we have PAST, which is pad asterisk. And then here we've got PMNS, which is pad minus. Then we've got P7. P8. P9. And this would be the plus, so that's going to be PPLS for pad plus. Okay. Down here we're going to have P4, P5, P6, and that's it. And then we're going to have P1, P2, P3, and then this is going to be pad enter, so that's pent. This is going to be pad dot, and this is P0. Okay. I think that should be good. So what we can try now is to build that firmware. So let's try to build the rb18 with default firmware. Hopefully, no warnings, everything's okay so far, and looks like it came out okay. So now we can start working on the VIA key map. So let's go back to VIA, and we'll see what's in this rules.mk. Okay, yeah, so you need both of these for VIA, so that's good. And then we'll also edit the key map. And probably should have left the old key map open, so let's also open the old key map. So yeah, again, we'll replace this date, and then we should be able to just grab this. Okay. And now, pretty much gonna do that here. But then we're just gonna replace all of those with these. I'll fix the formatting in a sec. You have to set exactly 4 layers for VIA. It's hard-coded that way. And if you don't do this, there will be random data inside of the ROM that will get read in by VIA, and then you'll have all these weird or not even real keys set, so we want to avoid that. So this looks good. So we're just setting this layer to have nothing set on it. We can just copy and paste that layer for all of these. Okay, so that should be good. So let's try to make the VIA layout. See if that works. Okay, that looks good. So now what we have to do is actually just make the design file for VIA. And I'm just going to do this on Windows. So I'm just going to go into a VIA repo that I've already cloned and find my file for the rb69. I'll just make a copy of this real quick. And rename that to rb18. All right. And now we should be able to just open that in Notepad++. So I'm just going to open that real quick. Okay, let's put that like that. So again, we just have to rename some stuff in here. So just changing the name, the product ID. We're going to change the matrix here to be 5 rows by 4 columns. And then the rest is just the actual layout. So to get the layout, I'm just going to minimize this for a little bit. I'm actually going to go back to this KLE, and we're going to have to do some stuff with that. Okay, so let me just double check something real quick. I think... Okay, key color CCC. Okay, yeah. So I think we are gonna take some keys like this and change the key color to A. Then we need to go through all these columns and do comma 0 and then comma 1 and then comma 2 and then comma 3. And then we're just going to put in all the row information for these. So I believe that should work like this. Let me just double check that in here. So that's going to be in rb18.c. No, sorry, .h. So let's see. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Actually, just look at this one. So 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 1, 0, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 2, 3, 0, 4, 1, 3, 2, 3, 3, 4, 0, 4, 2. Yep, that looks good. So now if we go to raw data, and we just do download JSON, then we can open that in Notepad here. Okay. And then pretty much we just grab all of this. Oops. I think it should just be down to there. Or it might include this as well, actually. Ooh. Just grab all of that. And let's see. Yep, that looks right. So we paste this. And then maybe just tab all this over a couple times. And that looks like it should be good. So then if we just close this and we open VIA, we do design, load, we do rb18. If we get no errors, then we're good. So that's it. That's all you need to create a QMK firmware file for a new keyboard and make a VIA compatible firmware for it. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you learned something.